evening. We are live in Banjul, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. This is GRTS News at 2000 hours with me, Winifred Nicole. In the headlines tonight, the ambassadors designate of the European Union and Russian Federation presents their letters of credence to President Adama Barrow at the State House. Former Justice Minister Lamin Jabate testified before the TRRC for alleged torture of detainees at the NIA and Farafenni barracks attackers, as well as the execution of the 9 prison inmates. The Gambia Police Force promotes 65 superior officers to different ranks at a ceremony held at the police headquarters in Banjul. And in other news, at least 20 UN peacekeepers wounded in central Mali attack following an attack on the US. And Chinese President Xi Jinping hold phone conversation with the US President Joe Biden meant to strengthen cooperation between Beijing and Washington. Well, viewers, those are the headlines. Many thanks for joining us. In a flurry of diplomatic engagements on Thursday, the ambassadors designate of the European Union and Russian Federation presented their letters of credence to His Excellency the President Adama Barrow at the State House. Our Presidential Affairs correspondent Momodu Jallo covered both engagements and now reports.
The ambassador-designate of the European Union, His Excellency Corrado Pampaloni, was received with full honors at the State House. He formally presented his letters of credence to the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, and had talks with the Gambian leader. Speaking to reporters after the ceremony, Ambassador Pampaloni pledged to continue on the footsteps of his predecessor in supporting the Gambia's transition process.
I am very happy to be here, to have been chosen by the High Representative and the President of the European Commission to be proposed as the ambassador to the Gambia. For me, it was my aspiration to come to the Gambia in this particular moment, very important for the Gambia, but also for the European Union. It's a very delicate and important moment for the country, but is also a very important and very positive moment for our relations.
The European Union is one of the Gambia's closest partners and has significantly contributed to support democracy, good governance and economic development.
I'm here to underline this and to put forward the positive relations that have been marking our exchanges in these last 3 years, and to go on with that. We have been accompanying the Gambia in these processes. We are willing to go on with this. We support the Gambia in this important, very important moment where a lot of processes have been put in motion by His Excellency, and we will continue to follow very intensely and very positively.
The ambassador-designate of the Russian Federation, His Excellency Dmitry Kurakov, was the second diplomat to arrive at the State House for the formal ceremony. The Russian ambassador, plenipotentiary and extraordinary, also presented his credentials to President Barrow. Speaking to GRTS, Ambassador Kurakov said he was happy to return to the Gambia for the first time in 20 years.
It's a real pleasure and honor to be here in Banjul, and I'm intending to work hard to bring our bilateral relations to a new level. For we have very good political relations, but we need to develop our economic and cultural ties, and I think it's very important to in order to let Gambian people know better Russia, and for Russians to know better the Gambia. And for me, it's very important to bring here more Russians to just enjoy your beautiful country, enjoy the opportunities you offering to investors, and this is I think one of the main issues and my aims of my work.
The Russian ambassador is based in Dakar and was accompanied to the State House by the Russian Consul General in the Gambia, Lamin Manga. Momodu Diallo, GRTS News.
The Public Utilities and Regulatory Authority, PURA, on Thursday appeared before the Public Enterprise Committee of the National Assembly for a scrutiny of their activity and financial statements for the year ended 2019. Uminjai was following proceedings and filed in this report.
Public Utilities and Regulatory Authority, PURA, faces scrutiny from the Public Enterprise Committee of the National Assembly, where they earlier submitted their activity and financial reports for the year 2019 to the legislative body. Today's appearance saw lawmakers thoroughly scrutinizing the submitted reports and about answers as to areas where they wanted clarifications. Deputies want to know who sets coal tariffs and the principles applied in the process.
In terms of the termination, could you explain the technical aspects so that the members take it that we know nothing about what your role is in monitoring?
Termination rates in the countries were increased. It was at 0.53 US cents at the time. So because of that, MGI were making a lot of money on the gateway. But that's because the Gambians don't experience that difficulty. It is people who are calling into the Gambia who are subject to that tax. So the same way, when Senegalese realize that Gambia has increased the termination rates in the country, so the Senegalese calling the Gambia are facing that problem. They pay a lot of money to reach Gambia.
Committee Chair Halifa Sallah further quizzed PURA on its technical structure on the International Voice Gateway.
Previously, the International Voice Gateway, as my colleague has stated, was actually spearheaded and managed solely by Gamtel. And the other operators, even though they were doing most of the investment, they were not getting the required piece of the cake. If Gamtel, due to one reason or another, be it due to technical or financial reasons, have an issue with Senegal, let's say Tigo, for example, Tigo can actually block calls from the Gambian subscribers reaching Tigo subscribers.
Beyond the year of implementation, lawmakers questioned the issue of international gateway and the planned movement from analog to digital broadcasting. The country suffers from low connectivity and a 4G network is still a challenge in the Gambia. The submitted reports indicated that 4G capacity is just about 3% for the entire country. More questions from deputies who prompted the utility body to explain and clarify the existence of a real 4G network in the Gambia.
As far as the television is concerned, there was a recommendation at the International Telecommunications Union level that all countries should migrate to digital from analog transmission. A deadline was given in those days, was set to 2015 for all countries in the world to migrate from analog to digital. But because of the challenges of various African countries, that deadline could not be met, and it was actually resolved that the deadline be pushed to June 2020.
The question of 4G coverage became sticking point as deputies showed deeper interest in the issue. The committee further delved into punishable laws or advertisement codes of conduct that could punish service providers if they mislead or misinform the public on 4G network coverage in the Gambia. PURA officials quickly responded.
In terms of advertisement, we have seen this day in, day out in our radios. The widest speed, the widest coverage, 4G countrywide. What we want to know now, whether this is the reality on the ground, and if not, why is it that PURA don't inform the customers that this is the reality on the ground?
A simple answer is yes, there is 4G, and yes, the 4G is real. I think what the honorable member from Bassa is talking about is universal access, which is something to do with 4G isn't available everywhere. This is what we want to do. This is what we are working with the operators to actually make possible. Currently, what Gambia has in place is pay and play.
The financial statement of the utility giant also came into question.
What is the useful life of this vehicle, and what is the current book value of this vehicle?
It has served its useful life for this more than 7 years. So it has a zero net book value. The vehicle is not even movable now. It's been parked at the back. GPPA requires us to have a disposal committee. So the disposal has been instituted.
After what was a thorough scrutiny of the utility authority's report, sittings were adjourned to a later date for continuation of legislative review and consideration of the activity and financial statements for the year ended 2019. Ominjai, GRTS.
Communities continue to lament the impact of disasters owing to poor drainage systems and town planning. To this end, the National Assembly Select Committee on Health and Humanitarian Relief is moving to diverse measures to address the problem. Fatoumata Cham reports on day 3 of the tour by the lawmakers, which also takes them to COVID-19 treatment centers.
Village, located at the country's border with Senegal, is home to over 15,000 people, and this minor health center, scarcely resourced, provides basic healthcare services to 19 communities. Like all other border villages, this settlement is extremely exposed to the COVID-19 virus. However, this minor health center can do not so much to respond or contain the deadly virus.
Of course, we having some PPEs, but not enough. Sometimes the face masks or the nose masks that we are having, we do run out of it sometimes. Yeah, and some of our staffs were trained on sample collection, but like it's become a challenge for us to collect a sample from here because somebody will come with the clinical signs and symptoms of COVID-19. But now, if the staff is trained, but there is no sample collection tools for us to collect the sample for it to be sent to MRC for diagnosis.
The challenges facing this settlement vary, residents here tell the lawmakers. Sabi has recently joined the list of disaster hotspots in the region, much to the fright of the community. The village suffers severe floods, which claims the lives of people, thanks to the poor drainage system and the inflow of water from neighboring Senegal. Not even recent infrastructural developments have done enough. This is Basse Kabakama. The place has been in the spotlight for being one of the most notorious disaster hotspots in the Upper River region. I mean, the flooding that happens in this part of the country poses serious and massive environmental and health risks for the people, especially those that live in this part of the country. As you can see, most of the people that used to settle here have been displaced as a result of the flooding. Well, as you can see, there are heavy-duty machines and work is already in place.
Any development work, any infrastructural work, the NDMA should be consulted. All institutions in this country, any development work, the NDMA should be consulted, should be involved, so that you can be given the technical advice on how to mitigate disasters.
In its efforts to stay abreast with the COVID-19 situation in the country, the delegation visited the Basse and Bansang hospitals, where the committee inspected structures put in place to fight the COVID-19 virus. Health officials highlighted the challenges affecting their response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
The issue of testing. You know, Bansang Hospital is a very key in terms of COVID response in these two regions. In the hospital alone, in terms of surveillance, we'll see a lot of resources. You know, so where will you test them? You collect sample, you have to transport the sample.
This exercise is one of many this committee has embarked on. Some of the challenges are, however, still left unaddressed, and the officials say they remain persistent to providing solutions. That, though, remains a lot to be seen. For GRTS News, I am Fatoumata Cham.
The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission today summoned Lamin Arms Jobate, a legal practitioner and former Attorney General and Minister of Justice during the Jammeh regime. Mr. Jobate's testimony was in connection with the torture of the detainees of the Farafenni barracks attack the torture of other detainees in 1995 at the defunct NIA headquarters, as well as the extrajudicial execution of 9 prison inmates, Baba Sila was following the marathon proceedings and filed in this report.
After his name adversely emerged in multiple testimonies, former Justice Minister Lamin A.M.S. Jobate finally appeared before the Truth Commission. The former AG was quizzed on a wide range of issues, including the capture and alleged torture of the attackers of Farafenni Barracks, the unconstitutional summary execution of 9 prison inmates in 2012, and the torture of some detainees in 1995 at the defunct National Intelligence Agency. Mr. Jobate, a former victim of Jammeh who was also prosecuted and sentenced by the High Court for economic crimes and false information, began his evidence by furnishing the commission with his educational background and numerous qualifications until his induction into the civil service. The renowned Gambian lawyer from the Central River region slammed the execution of the 9 prison inmates as unconstitutional, noting that Jammeh lacked remorse and had no regret over his actions, while denying any role or responsibility for the killings. In July 2012, the exiled former President Yahya Jammeh unilaterally decided to execute 9 inmates without due process. The killings attracted both local and international condemnation, leading to the closure of some media houses for their critical reporting on the matter.
There was no such meeting at the Attorney General Chambers, which is indicated here in this file. And at no time did the Attorney General Chambers or any member of staff or myself as the then minister did what is claimed herein. It's completely false.
So what is baffling Mr. Jobate is that you would do whatever the president instructed. Why would the president know that the law required that the Minister of Justice would send him the advice? So he gets somebody else to give that advice in place of the Minister of Justice, who he knows would be compliant.
Jobate also talked about his incarceration in 2014, dismissing false information charges leveled on him as trump-up allegations. Slamming the false information law and order charges as draconian acts, the former Justice Minister said he never prosecuted anyone under those indictments during his tenure, but acknowledged the prosecution of many who have fallen victim to the charges.
2-year stint as Minister of Justice, how many people were tried under these 2 draconian laws?
I cannot remember the number of the people. But I know.
Were there any?
Yes, indeed.
And as Minister of Justice, you are therefore responsible for prosecutions under these 2 statutes, which you have now come to say were draconian.
I have never, ever personally prosecuted any case of that nature.
The witness also testified on the torture of the Farafenni attackers and described his Justice Minister appointment as merely ceremonial. All decisions are taken by the former president, the former AG told the Truth Commission. Despite all the evidence presented before him, including allegations leveled against him by scores of witnesses, Jobate denied any unconstitutional action during his time as Justice Minister. For GRTS News, I am Baba Silla.
The Gambia Ports Authority on Thursday inaugurated a new warehouse off Bond Road, which will ease access for business traders who use the ports to offload trucks and goods. Sena Bujan was there and filed in this report.
The Gambia Ports Authority inaugurates a new warehouse and facility to enhance packing capacity amid a rise in demand pressuring operators due to limited space for storage of containers.
It is a facility that we have leased for the handling of transit and inbound cargo with a view to the congested port, because you may be aware that the volume of cargo is outgrowing the facility in terms of the port area that we have for storage of containers. That's why there's a need to go off dock and bring the cargo here for greater efficiency in the handling process. We have been moving with the idea for the past year, and we are thankful that today we have witnessed substantial improvement in the works that are desired according to customs requirement, because this place is where we intend to handle cargo that is inbound and transit. And once the cargo is in country, they are under customs bond. So this is a customs area. That's why there was a need to have the facility according to their requirement in terms of the fence height, the security systems, and the office accommodation.
Officials visited the facility and the space surrounding the warehouse to inspect the grounds which would be used for transiting goods. The new expansion effort, targeted to increase storage capacity, will also ease the clearance backlog encountered by the Gambia Revenue Authority.
As you can see it by yourself, there has been a lot of improvement in terms of the developments within the infrastructure here. We were here 3-4 months ago, and just to inspect, and there are requirements that we want the owner of the place to put in place before we can use it as a transit point. And a lot has been done. One like to raise the fence up to that level, and then that has been done. As you can see it, the securities lights are also done, and you can see the office complex. Now you have visited, you have seen everything. Now our main problem is the ground. You can see the ground is level, but we want him to improve that, so that because here we'll have a lot of activities, and once that is done, we should be giving them the green light to start the work. Development is coming, volume of trade is increasing, and Gambia is used like a bouncing state. What I mean by that, a lot of cargoes that comes here don't stay in the country. They come in a form of transit, and some come in the form of home use. Duties are paid, and they are exported to other countries.
Business owners like Kissa Magindo, who operate from Mali, welcome the expansion, saying more port space will increase opportunities for the transporting of goods through the Gambia, as Mali doesn't have a port. This external space is expected to attract more investment, as the Gambia Ports Authority embarks on a strategic expansion mission to decongest the ports and ensure customers enjoy faster access to their goods. The warehouse is a private port, and the Gambia Ports Authority is paying $5 million annually to retain it. Zainab Bujang for GRTS News.
The Gambia Police Force on Thursday decorated and promoted 65 superior officers to different ranks. The event took place at the police headquarters in Banjul and was graced by service chiefs and dignitaries. Janke Ture was there, and she filed in this report.
With the goal to create a responsive, effective and efficient police force, the police command has decorated another set of officers. Numbering 65, the newly promoted officers were decorated to various ranks from chief inspectors to commissioners of police. Speaking at the ceremony, the Inspector General of Police, Mamul Job, congratulated the newly promoted officers, adding he have no doubt that they will live up to the expectations of the police command.
I am proud to say the officers promoted were found to be worthy and deserving of their ranks. For the records, I wish to state that these officers in our midst are highly experienced, dedicated, and professionals. I have no doubt that they will live up to expectations of the police management and the good people of the country.
Ibrahim Bah is the Assistant Inspector General of Police for Administration. Bah said promotions comes with additional responsibilities and higher expectations, and thus he implored on the newly promoted staff to uphold the highest sense of professionalism.
I am pleased to say that the officers to be decorated here this morning are some of the finest police officers the Gambia Police Force can be proud of. Hence their promotions and decoration today. Amongst them, we have seasoned investigators, commanders, administrators, prosecutors, just to name a few. Your promotions are added responsibilities, and the expectations become greater. Therefore, I challenge you all to live to those expectations.
Jibril Ngor Seka is the advisor to the Interior Minister. His advice to the newly promoted officers is to be dedicated to duty and law-abiding.
I therefore urge you to see your new appointments both as a recognition of your professionalism and as being entrusted with the responsibility to deal with very peculiar crimes and challenges confronting this nation at this present moment.
Certificates were also given to institutions as a show of appreciation for the support rendered to the Gambia Police Force. Most of the promoted officers spent between 7 to 37 years of service. Speaking on behalf of the promoted officers, Commissioner of Police Lamin Banda thanked the Gambia Police Command for the trust and promised to live up to expectation.
Be reminded that it's underpinned by critical thinking and decision making in complicated matters threatening peace, security, and social cohesion of the country, as well as support the police senior management to redirect, to refocus, and transform the security system administration and governance trajectory of our beloved motherland.
The new promotions are a means of rewarding deserving police officers and motivating them to give their best in the service of their country and her people. Janket Toure, GRTS News.
The visiting top officials of the Gambia Transport Union held a major stakeholders meeting in Farafenni on day 2 of their countrywide tour to discuss challenges of transportation and also possible plans of relocating or expansion of some of the car parks. Samuel Ba has more on that.
This is Farafenni North Bank region, cosmopolitan home to thousands of residents and a critical borderline community, facilitating regional trade needs and integration. The transportation challenges of this community, like all other areas, include accidents and safety, parking difficulties, congestion, among other issues that stakeholders are seeking to address during the tour.
Since the beginning of the tour, our intention was to educate and sensitize our drivers as to their rules and also their obligations in terms of transportation, because we felt that these were things which we are lacking.
One by one, they took to the platform and delved on a raft of issues and means of ensuring a more vibrant, responsive, and effective transport system.
When you say transport management, it's garage. It's where we can assemble and manage our cars, which will be a contributing factor in reducing road accidents. But furthermore, I further challenge this government and the Minister of Finance to make sure that the insurance companies pay our compensations.
A major challenge that emerged from the meeting was the constraint Gambian drivers face entering into the Senegalese corridor. That later prompted the delegation to reach out to border officials at Kër Ali.
Let them free the route. Senegal, border to border. When we are going, we can take the document. That is compulsory in any country. But after, if somebody got his document, why you said you are not going to load here? And then they are loading here.
Already taxi era council, we learned that on quarterly they receive about $1.7 million. And if you look at that amount, it's a huge amount, and they haven't done anything with regards to making of parks and garages in the region.
The rate of accidents, which is their old concern, and also the issue of license. If you look at 2021, have started, we are almost in the second month of the year, and they couldn't get their license. These are some of the challenges that they have.
Police are key partners in this mission, and Deputy Commissioner Gorgim Boub shared some words of wisdom with the transport operators. Big trucks generally take a toll on roads, and overloading them means increasing road damages and wear. To avoid that, stations like the Afrik Pesas Weight Station en route to the Bambatenda crossing point is used for weighing large vehicles, but not without hurdles.
The Gambian driver, he said that he came from Kuntawu to Kombo, which he loaded groundnut. In fact, what he did, he wanted to bypass us. So the personnel directed him in. So when before we were, he said that if he overloaded, he will not pay. What he did was, always the one outside will give me their paper, their insurance. So I will hand it over to the secretary. He stretched his hand, wanted to hit the girl.
The transport union president assured members that no stone would be left unturned in their commitment to ensuring safer and motorable roads.
as a union, we will sit as a executive level to see how to digest these challenges and to make recommendations. But some of them, I think, is lack of consultation. That's why those challenges are happening. But we want to create a quorum within them and the securities so that they can collaborate to see how to support each other.
The team also held meetings in Wasu, where a new garage has just been constructed with funding support from the Kuntaur Area Council. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
The Gambia Immigration Department has collected over $139 million in 2019 and over $91 million in 2020, despite the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The disclosure was made by the Director General, Sidi Toure, who held various town hall meetings in Farafenni and Bansang in the North Bank and Central River regions, respectively. As Babukar Kamara reports, the discussions also revealed a $3.5 million staff welfare and bus service fund, which was presented before regional staff to seek their opinion on its utilization.
From his vision to strengthen intersecurity services to his knack to outline a new strategic vision for the Gambia Immigration Department, DG Sidi Toure and team held their first town hall meeting in Farafenni. The forum dealt into the revenue generation capacity of the department, highlighting significant inflows at height of $139 million in 2019, compared to previous administrative collection of $80 million per annum.
Immigration work is two things. It is either government money or applicants' money, people's money. 227 officers were promoted last year. 139,800,000 and something dollars was collected as revenue.
By the close of this 2020, the client balance was welfare fund. You have $2,563,235.
Discussions during the interface between the command and regimentation of the service saw some serious discussions on staff welfare, moral, and procedure to engage the public, highlighting a new turning point for the department. The command emphasized on
report by Babukar Kamara takes us to a first break. We will be back with news from outside the Gambia. Do stay.
Do come true.
Meet Rebecca, one of the top 8 finalists of the Be a Star Sierra Leone. From a schoolgirl to a famous star, she rocks with her brand new musical video. Be famous and successful. Be a star of the Gambia. All you have to do is record a video of you singing your favorite song, not more than 2 minutes long. Send the video by WhatsApp to the following number, 2299944, using an AfriCell number. State your name and where you're from. Be a winner of a fully recorded album and $500,000. AfriCell Be a Star, your road to success.
Dreams do come true.
Welcome back. I'm afraid time is not on our side, but before we go, a quick look at our headline-making stories. The ambassadors designate of the European Union and Russian Federation have presented their letters of credence to President Adama Barrow at the State House. Former Justice Minister Lamin Jabate has testified before the TRRC for alleged torture of detainees at the NIA and Farafenni barracks attackers, as well as the execution of 9 prison inmates. The Gambia Police Force has promoted 65 superior officers to different ranks at a ceremony held at the police headquarters in Banjul. In other news, at least 20 UN peacekeepers have been wounded in central Mali attack following an attack on the US. And Chinese President Xi Jinping has held phone conversation with the US President Joe Biden meant to strengthen cooperation between Beijing and Washington. Well, viewers, that was all in this edition of the news at 8. Join us at 10 for more news. Until then, do stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.